Yes, good evening and welcome to the Master Herbalist Formulas for Healing. Today we're gonna make up, in fact, we're gonna make a formula, and the formula is gonna be called counterattack. And in a couple of days, it's going to be on my website, patrickdellsHolisticHealing.com. And the purpose of this formula is to fight against pathogens, viruses, cancer cells, fungi, parasites, and also bacteria. Now, remember we said before that roots and bark sink and leaves and flowers float. So we're going to put the leaves and the flowers in a separate bag because they float, and we're going to use the roots and the barks and the resins in one bag because they sink. Don't forget, that's herbal medicine. So you see now, yeah? Now. So we're going to call this formula counterattack, and I'm going to explain a little explanation of how the herbs work in this formula. Now, usually you have an immune system, and the white blood cells, the B cells, and the T lymphocytes. And these cells make antibodies to fight against viruses and other pathogens. Now, because lots of people have what we call a compromised immune system, meaning they either have a transplant of the kidney or a heart transplant, or they have what we call an autoimmune disease, where they're taking some steroids and it suppresses the immune system. So they're what we call immune system compromised. Some of these herbs here, like the red Ganoderma over here, shoot it over here for me. The red Ganoderma and the chaga mushroom, this herb right here called chaga. These herbs act as what we call amphoteric. So what they do is, if you have an immune system that is compromised, these two herbs with another herb called Phalaenopsis and shiitake and maitake mushroom is going to balance back the immune system if the immune system is compromised. If the immune system is overactive, meaning that it's overzealous, and the person has lupus, scleroderma, muscular dystrophy, myasthenia gravis, or RA, rheumatoid arthritis, even Graves' disease, these herbs will help to balance back the immune system so that the immune system do not attack the person's kidney, their heart, their liver, or the lung. All right? That's the beautiful thing about plants. So what we're going to do, we're going to mix some herbs today, and we're going to mix Chinese and Western plants and Averic plants also, and give you a spectrum of how they work. Yeah, wonderful. So we're going to do the leaves and the flowers first, because they're going to separate bag. Because remember we said before that leaves and flowers float, and roots and bark sink. Right? So we're going to go to the leaves and the flowers. We're going to go one herb here we're going to hit is what is called celandine. And celandine is an herb that we use when you have troubles in the gallbladder, or you have spasm of the gallbladder, spasm of the heart, or spasm of the lung. We use these herbs as what we call antispasmodics. It is also good for the heart and the liver and the gallbladder. It's called celandine. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of the celandine. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. Because remember we said before that when we are dealing with plants, we have to know what the main herbs are and what the supporting herbs are and what the assistant plants are. So the main herb is going to attack the disease, while the supporting herbs is going to support what the main herb is doing. And the assistant herbs is going to assist in the process of healing the disease. All right, wonderful. The body heals itself. Next herb we're going to use is called cleavers. And cleavers, we're going to work on the lymphatic system, because cleavers is the herb that work not only on the lymphatic system, it's one of the best herbs for that particular area of the body, which is part of the immune system too. But it is also significant for when you have UTI, urinary tract infections, because it helps to get rid of UTI in the kidney if the kidney is full of bacteria, or the bladder, that is also. So we're going to use some cleavers. We're going to use 2 parts, which is 2 tablespoons. Yeah? 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. That's cleavers. The next herb we're going to use is called meadowsweet. And meadowsweet is a very significant plant for the stomach when you have what we call hyperchlorhydria, because it drops acid in the stomach walls. So if you have a lot of acid reflux and you want to drop the acid in the stomach, then meadowsweet is what we're going to use there. So we're going to put some meadowsweet in there. We're going to be working on the whole body of the whole. We call it counterattack. So we are counterattacking any kind of troubles that's coming into the body. Okay? Could it be a virus? Could it be a bacteria? Could it be acid? Could it be a fungus? Or could it be a parasite? Yeah? We're going to do 2 parts of the meadowsweet. Those will be the leaves and the flowers, don't forget. Yeah? Wonderful. We're going to go to the next herb called alfalfa. And alfalfa is a significant plant because alfalfa was never given to humans before. But this herb was given to horses. And lots of the horses that use this plant, they want the races fast. You know what I'm saying? So, they start to give it to humans because this herb have lots of minerals and vitamins, and it is also an antioxidant to prevent oxidation of the cells. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of alfalfa. Knock them down. All right? Wonderful. Boom. 2 tablespoons. Put it over here. Then we're going to go to the roots now. Because remember we said before that the roots and the bark sink. But we're going to use one more herb in the flowers, or the leaves and the flowers, called chrysanthemum. Look at over here. See this herb right here. This herb is significant for the liver. It is very significant for a woman or men who have liver cancer. And it also prevents inflammation of the liver. But because when people have troubles in the liver, it affects the eyes, we use this herb with another herb called bilberry and lycium fruit for when you have diabetic retinopathy, when you have glaucoma, when you have retinitis pigmentosa, and these herbs mixed together prevent what we call cataracts from forming in the eye cells. So we're going to use some chrysanthemum, which is a flower. So you don't forget you have to mix the flowers and the leaf together because they sink. We're going to put some chrysanthemum there, and it's good for the liver, and it's good for inflammation of the liver. Right? We're going to put that there. Then we're going to put that on the side. Yeah? Now, we're going now to the roots now. The roots. First herb we're going to go is the main herb. And because we are making a formula to counterattack pathogens and viruses, we are going to use chaga as the main herb. So we're going to use a few herbs that is going to have that broad spectrum of balancing back the immune system or increasing the immune reservoir so that you can fight diseases. Yeah. So the first main herb we're going to use is a herb called chaga, C-H-A-G-A. And chaga have what we call betulin. It's a chemical that reduce or get rid of tumors. So it is an anti-tumor plant. It have also what we call mushroom polysaccharides. This chaga plant here. So it's good for cancer. And if you want to build up the immune system or balance it back, you must use chaga. So we're going to have chaga as the main herb. We're going to put chaga right here. So we're going to put 4 tablespoons of chaga because chaga is being the main herb, right? We'll put 4 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's chaga. Now, the next herb we're going to use, the main herb, is called Ganoderma. It's another mushroom again. We're using mushrooms now. Because as I said before, mushrooms act as amphoterics. Not all of them, but those I mentioned now act as amphoterics. We're going to use some Ganoderma now. And the Ganoderma is going to be with the main herb in the mixture called counterattack. So we're going to put about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sticks of Ganoderma, because Ganoderma is the main herb with the chaga. Don't forget, the main herb is the herb that attacks the pathogen or the virus or build up the immune system so that the immune system can do the job for you. Yeah, wonderful. So chaga and Ganoderma is the main herb. Plus, we're going to use another plant called Codonopsis. Right here, Codonopsis. And Codonopsis is a Chinese plant that act as what we call an adaptogen. It's called dangshen, D-A-N-G-S-H-E-N, not D-A-N, D-A-N-G-S-H-E-N, dangshen. It's called codenopsis. And what this herb does, it works on the endocrine system, so it works on the adrenal glands. But it also helps with cancer treatment, and it also gives you energy, especially if you're suffering from what we call cachexia, or if you have fatigue, or we call adrenal fatigue, or if you're taking chemotherapy and the chemo is making you get fatigue. This herb called codenopsis is going to work on the adrenals because of adrenal fatigue and build you up. It's called an adaptogen, and it's good for cancer. It's good to build up the immune system, and it's good to keep the endocrine glands healthy. We're going to have this for the main herb. See them here? Main herb. Put this across over here now. You're going to go to another herb called astragalus. And astragalus also is another herb again we use for cancer treatment. It's also good for diabetes, but when you're going to fight any kind of bacterial or any viral infection, you must put astragalus. So we're going to put astragalus as the main herb. So the main herbs are what? Ganoderma, astragalus, codenopsis, and chaga. Sometimes we're going to put some astragalus here now too. Okay? Maybe 5 or 6 of them will give you like a 4, or what they call 4 tablespoons. See? Right here. But we said because the roots and the bark sink, and the leaves and the flowers float. The roots and the bark sink, leaves and flower float. Now, next we're going to go to another herb called opiopogon. And I like opiopogon because it is good for when you have trouble in the lung, especially lung cancer. But it is very significant to prevent them viral infection, so COVID, from sticking in your lung. You understand? It's a very important herb for that. So we're going to put a few of the opiopogon in the mixture as the main herb, because opiopogon now protect the lung, but it is also significant for any kind of viral infection that's going to affect your lung. It's good for what we call a cold and a dry condition of your lung. Right? The main herb. We're going to use one more herb for the main herb, and this herb is called red sage, Chinese red sage, or it's called danshen, D-A-N-S-H-E-N, danshen, or salvia root. Where is it? Right over here. It's right here. Now this herb is significant for when you have blood stasis, meaning that the blood is not moving properly. So we're going to use this herb to move the blood, but it is also significant for vascular integrity, especially people who got a stroke and is recovering from the stroke. This herb called salvia root, or D-A-N-S-H-E-N, or Chinese red sage, is significant to move the blood. So it's also important for women who have what we call period pain, called dysmenorrhea. We're going to put it there, and we're going to put this here now as the main herb because it works on the circulatory system and it moves the blood. So when you have cancer or you have any kind of stagnation of the blood, things don't move, you must use salvia root, red sage, or D-A-N-S-H-E-N. Don't forget. And put a few of that in here too. And mix them up. Boom. Then we're going to use one more herb of the main herb. Come a little closer. It's called Chinese Dankui, or Western Angelica. Now this herb is good for women who have fibroids, PCOS, and they have what we call period pain, dysmenorrhea. It moves the blood. But this herb is also good for the heart. When you have congestive heart failure, and the heart is failing because of a lot of blood around the heart, a lot of water in the heart muscle, they call it cardiac edema. This herb works wonderful for that too, but it moves the blood. So I put it in my formulas that I want to counterattack anything. So it moves the blood, it helps uterine with uterine circulation, it shrinks fibroids, it shrinks ovarian cysts, it gets rid of follicles and ovaries, but it is very significant to move the blood and to keep the heart from failing. Put that over here now. These are the main herb. Over here. And you put them on the side over here. Boom. Now, We're going to another set of herb now. We're going to go to the other roots and the other barks. This one is called white peony. There's red peony and there's white peony. And this white peony or white peony is very significant for when you have trouble in the bladder, in the kidney, especially if you have bladder cancer. And bladder cancer is on the rise now with in a lot of people's in a lot of our countries. So white peony, which is another herb we're going to mention in a while, called Lovet's tuber. Lovet's tuber and white peony is significant for when you have bladder cancer or if you want to prevent kidney stones. So because we're doing a whole spectrum of the body and we're doing what we call counterattack, we're going to counterattack them kidney stones too. So we're going to put some white what? Don't forget white peony in the mixture. So white peony is going to be what we call the supporting herb. It's not the main herb, it's supporting. So this herb is going to support what the main herb is doing. These here, yeah? And then these over here, which is the leaves and the flowers, is going to where they at? The leaves and the flowers, they are going to assist what the main herb is doing. So these supporting herbs and this assisting herb is going to support the main herb so that it can do its job. And this assisting herb is going to assist the main herb in what it's doing. It's like you have an assistant, you know what I mean, a secretary, you know what I'm saying? Boss man. We're going to put not much of that. We're going to just put a little bit of this here. Right, it's called white peony. Then we're going to go to another herb called water plantain. And water plantain is very significant, not only for the kidney and the bladder, but it's also helped to remove excessive amount of inflammation from the body. Because we said before that once you have irritation can give you inflammation. So we're going to put some water plantain here. We're going to make it the assistant herb. We're going to use much of it. We're going to put it right here. Boom. Put it in there too. Water plantain. We're going to go to the next herb now. And the next herb we're going to go to is called Lovet's tuber. Lovegetubar. Mix them up together. And because Lovet's tuber helps to work on not only on the bladder, but on the kidney too, and it prevents kidney stones, but it is also significant to work between kidney, heart, and the lung. Yeah? We're going to make it the assistant herb. It's a handful of that. That's it, assistant herb. Yeah? And then what we're going to do now, we're going to go to another herb, the last but not least. The last but not least, this herb is called Lungum pulp. This herb right here, very significant. And remember that a lot of the plants that we use, some of them is good for obesity. Some of them is good for especially water plantain and the white tuber. They're good for obesity. They're good for stomach troubles. They're good for any problem that you have in your kidney or in your lung. All right? This herb is called Lungum pulp. And the reason why I want to put this herb in here in the mixture is because it is very significant for fevers and inflammation. And because we said before that irritation causes inflammation, we are going to put this herb here to prevent any kind of inflammatory troubles that's going to occur in the body. We call the formula counterattack. So we're going to use this herb here as an assistant herb. Only a handful of that back inside here. Yeah? Lock them up and shake them up. So these herbs and these herbs go together. We are going to boil them. So if you're going to get a gallon of water, you're going to put this, not a whole bag, a half of the bag or a half of these in 1 or half a gallon of water. And then you're going to put the fire on in a pot. Then you're going to put the fire very, very, not too high, not too low. And then you're going to put it, simmer it for 25 minutes. Once you finish 25 minutes, you're supposed to get half a gallon if you use a gallon of water. If you use a half a gallon of water, after 25 minutes, you're supposed to get what? A quarter gallon of the tea. Yeah? After you turn the stove off now, after mixing these up together and put it in your pot, you're going to take these herbs here, the leaves and the flowers now, and you're going to throw them in the pot, in the quarter gallon of water that you just made for the tea, and you're going to cover your pot, because remember we said that the leaves and the flowers float and the roots and the bark sink. Don't forget. So you must boil and you must steep. Infusion, decoction. Decoction, infusion. See? So once you decoct these herbs and you remove the chemicals from these plants to do the job for you, then you're going to add the leaves and the flowers into the pot, and then you're going to cover the pot for 5 minutes, and then you're going to keep it there for another 5 to 10 minutes, keep it for another 5 minutes again, and you're going to strain, and you're going to drink 3 cups per day, and stay from cheese and eggs and milk and all them fried food and greasy food. And if you have any kind of troubles, you're going to see the fat going away gradually. If you have a viral infection, you're going to fix it. If you have any kind of autoimmune diseases and you follow this program properly with the herbs, it's going to balance back your immune system because they act as amphoterics. Understand? And then you're going to put in some, if the person is constipated, what I do is I put in some herbs that act as what we call purgatives if you're constipated. So if you're going to use these herbs here and you say you're constipated, you're not going to the bathroom, I will add some burdock root, I will add some turkey rhubarb, I will add some slippery elm. You understand? And I put them in the mixture. So if you are constipated and you're not going to the bathroom now, then you put these herbs in, you drink the tea, you start to go to the bathroom, and you start eliminating toxins and waste and excessive amount of bacteria. And then you stay well. Because in the fall coming up, trust me, a lot of things will happen that's negative. So prepare. Be prepared. Keep your immune system healthy. Blessed love. Give thanks. Yeah, man.